Yeah, good afternoon. I'm going to talk on innovative library services. The topic is given by the college authorities, and yeah, let us see how best possible way we can implement the innovative library services in our concerned libraries. So, as you know, we are facing a lot of difficulties in getting financial support from the institution or from the government, but in spite of that, we have to be in a position to provide a good innovative library services with the existing our limited infrastructure and budget. So maybe I cannot say that every library can able to implement the innovative library services. It's all based on the librarians or the person who is involved in the library development. That is major concern and their interest, and they have to take personally to develop the library and its services. So then only these innovative library services implementations can be possible. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult, and they have to convince the authorities, college authorities, or university authorities, are also the users particularly. And convincing users are a bit difficult because the situation as of today, most of the users are highly technical and innovative. So with that, very difficult to convince the users to provide, to get or to satisfy their needs. So in this scenario, and let us see how best we can provide the library services to students. Before going to learn about the library services, and we would like to assess the status of the present situations, as of we can say the academic library status, whether it's a college or university or school, and mainly their involvement in teaching and learning, and what kind of services they provide for the faculty or students, and also if any the libraries attached to the research based services. That is also one of the important criteria to provide services to the users. And these libraries can help every academic member to gain new knowledge, skills, and helps them to learn throughout their life, because the academics or the students or the teachers or the researchers, until their lifetime they are learning, because they always trying to innovate new things, so that they want to make use of the library, they want to make use of the library services to get their need. So library is in a position to provide the services whatever the required by the students or the faculty members. So mainly how we can just a bit a different way we can understand what is mean by the innovative academic library. Means innovative means whether it can be a resource, it can be a services, how best we can innovate. So basically if you innovate, if you introduce an innovative library services, definitely the students' outcome will improve, and at the same time the faculty can improve their teaching skills and involve in research activities, and particularly to now most of the the present situation, like the UGC or whatever the assessment organizations are insisting faculty to publish an article and involve in the research activities, and their involvement, their publications, and based on their citations, the assessment system will give either by NAAC or NIRF ranking of that particular college or university, and here the libraries are playing an important role by way of providing the services. And mainly the services welcomes people and information together. If you provide an innovative service, the users are coming to the library and learn and understand, and it witness the research output of the institutions. So I don't know, sometimes some of the institutions are not really providing the services to the researchers, but definitely the innovative library services will improve the research output of the institutions. It is also improving the institutional affiliation, and also it implies, maybe it acquires, or otherwise it helps to collaborate with other institutions for the research activities or the research or the teaching or any kind of the academic related activities. So once if you are implementing a good library service, good service in your institutions, the other institutions, other colleges, other university users are also will be visiting your library to learn, to make use of the facilities which you are providing. So let us also see the status of the college library, particularly maybe because since we are addressing the college faculty or college librarians or users. So what is the status of the present situation? Yes, it's a bit difficult state, and sometimes we can say that categorically, like some institutions are getting funds, some institutions may not be getting funds, some institutions are not getting funds in time, some institutions though they get the funds during the last moment. So these kind of a status are having, and they normally focus mainly on the services like issue and return. But whereas the issue and returns are not only the services, but there are something else which you can try to provide, because now the technology is available. Most of the users are technological savvy, and they make use of the libraries. They make use of the technology very well. So the libraries are also in a position to provide the latest users needs, the user needs, which are very the technological oriented services. So they expect such kind of services from us, and really we have to think about it. What is our status? Whether we are we really handling the situation of the students now, and are we really satisfying their user needs? They may not be they are depending on the textbook based resources, but still we can also suggest them, provide them something different services which attracts the users to come to the library and make use of the library resources and services. Basically, what kind of practices are there in a library? And mainly the services, if you say that innovative services, which affects mainly the critical dimensions of the working environment. So working environment here means not only the library, even the entire institution, college or university or whatever it may be. If you provide a good service, people will come to the library, and others are also will visit the library, and it changes the entire working atmosphere or institutional atmosphere of the library which is attached, which we implement the innovative libraries. Mainly it affects the human resources, and sometimes if you implement, you will you are in need of good human resources, or otherwise if you may not be having the human resources, and in such cases it's very difficult to provide the services of which are innovative. So mainly the other issues like developing the required infrastructure is an important issue in case if you want to provide a good service, and acquiring the latest resources, whether it is an open source or commercial source. You need to acquire the latest resources which are available for the users, and that's one kind of a best service which we are implementing, providing to the users, and promoting the usage of resources. This is one of the important service in a library. And how to promote the usage? Suppose you have a resources in the library, and some of them are very important, which are in need. So those kind of resources, how to give them access? The librarian has to come out with some kind of a mechanism to display in a the everyday display of some books or journals to the users, and users fortunately they will have a look into it, they go through it, they understand it. So the librarian can have a mechanism to promote the usage of the resources, which helps the users as well as the library resources. And if really requires, if any users are suggesting additional library resources can be acquired, there are many open source resources are available, and those resources can be acquired by compiling the websites of their related websites, and URL can be compiled and those made available. It can be based on the subject wise, it can be based on the importance wise. So those kind of information can also be provided, and for this exclusively the library has to have its own library website, or otherwise if you are not in a position to create a library website, you can have your own library blog, which will give some kind of a platform to provide services to your own users, and maybe you can compile the URLs of that particular resources wherever it is available. You can have a brief abstract information about that particular resource and give a link that you just try to ask the users to go through certain links related to them, which help them to use the resources. And mainly if really the research activities are undertaken by any of the college or university, and encourage the R&D activities, and what are the tools and the required for them should be made available, or at least if they are commercial, you give them some information about that tool and where it is available, how it is available, what is going to be useful. So that will help the researchers to do and acquire through their own the research funds, and they can make research. So library is in a position to provide not only for the teaching and even for the research by way of implementing the innovative library services. So mainly if you can assess the library services based on the user's perspective, mainly the librarian has to assess the expectations of the users. So what kind of services the users are expecting, and mainly the user's perspective towards the library. Sometimes I may be liking the users, I may be liking the resources, I may visit the library regularly. Some of my friends may not be visiting the library regularly. And what is the expectation? Because they are not getting their expected resources, expected services in our library. So the librarian has to assess and understand their requirement, and based on their requirement, he has to act and implement the services that is going to be useful for the users, not only for their there are the diversified needs. Normally, as you know, those days, earlier days, the users used to depend on books. Now the users are very smart, they have a diversified needs. Sometimes some students may require e-books, some students may require e-journals, e-resources. Those can be acquired by the library, or otherwise if they are not in a position to acquire through funds, they can also compile by getting other open source softwares, open source resources. And in case if really that's a commercial book, they can maintain some kind of a library networks by joining with any of the existing networks like Delnet or InflipNet or whatever the networks. So they can acquire through the network membership and provide to the users. Mainly the library should implement the innovative practices. Probably there are many innovative practices. It's also kind of a service where the users, the library can maintain its own the web page, which the users can request a book, which the users can ask for an article, or it can have its own, library can have its own blog where you can ask the students to respond, or maybe you can start one particular topic to discuss. So these kind of the innovative practices can be implemented by the library, and whatever the services you are implementing, that has to be integrate with your existing practice. Suppose I am as a librarian, I issue a book, I take a book back in the form of returning the book. So while doing that, I can also implement by automating. The users need not come to library, they can renewal themselves by logging, and maybe we can allow once or twice to renewal online. So later they can come back to the library and return the library. If they want reissue, they can reissue it. So these kind of practices can be implemented, and that will help to the users. And mainly the best part of the library is to utilize the available technologies and technological practices while providing the library services. So which will help to the users to get services at their fingertips, because maybe they may not visit to the library, but they access the library services by using the technology. So such kind of the technological implementations or utilizations are necessary in any one of the libraries. And also popularize availability of unaware resources and services. Sometimes you take history. There are some history related books which are very 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 important, and you take Sanskrit, so or Ayurveda or medicine or whatever it may be. Some important books are available and most of them are not used properly. So such books will be identified, those books importance. Probably if the users may not be going through it, and you can ask any one of the faculty or students to go through that particular book and assess it, and ask them to write a small abstract kind of a thing. Along with the book and abstract, you can display it for a week or 1 or 10 days near your library, and definitely it will attract the real needy users, and they can make use of such resources. So that's one of the important area or service where the librarian can focus it. As I told you, the place and environment should be very attractive. Most of the libraries should maintain. Of course, I am not able to tell you to have a very a posh kind of the seating arrangements and other things. At least you need to have some cleanliness, maintain a cleanliness in your surroundings of the library, reading places or seating places, so to sit and read comfortably by the users. And probably if you can say that college library space, or it enables innovative, and if best possible way you can try to attract some good funding agencies by providing some kind of proposal to beautify your the place or environment. And definitely there are certain bodies will be coming forward to fund, maybe some social organizations, some NGO organizations. You can request them to provide some kind of financial assistance, and it inclusive and inviting for all, which needs to involve the whole users. If the place and environment is neat and clean, and definitely it attracts many users to come and use the library, and this environment will stimulate, will help the users in their thinking, and also inspire the students to learn very well and come out with a very good a marks in their consent examinations. So design the different spaces with appropriate collections. Probably when you are in a library, the library place should be properly utilized by displaying some important service related to items, like probably somewhere in a journal, somewhere a back volumes, somewhere a current issue, somewhere a magazines. So, and some of the latest arrivals of different books, and you can just announce a kind of note saying that 1 week related to one subject. So in a month you can divide total number of days, working days particularly, and every few days you are displaying different subject books. So this is one of the important service which you are going to provide to the users. And also you need to describe various forms of learning. There are different forms of learning. Sometimes there are many resources are available in YouTube. There are many resources are available in various educational platforms, and many institutions are having their own the channels, particularly the TV channels. Their contents are available in the form of institutional repositories. That information has to be popularized among your users, which by way of encouraging an online learning kind of thing. So all of them are, it requires to kind of a registration by using their registration method. So they are not chargeable, and they are all not charging. Only thing is you need to have a registration. So that can be done by your users. You need to, as a librarian, we can provide a service which we can identify a online resource about particular the subject or the area, so which can be recorded, and the users can make use of it. If in case if they have any such doubts, the users can they can contact the librarian to make use of it. And assistance for choosing the books, sometimes this is one of the very needy, because for the users many times it's very a common issue in open access kind of libraries. If it is a closed access and if you are not allowing to the users to the books, so they may not find difficulty. But in case of open access, particularly in the bigger libraries or university libraries, some college libraries are also allowing users directly to take the books. So in such cases, it's very difficult to find a books. And choosing a right book, and sometimes if they are not finding the book, the librarian has to assist and make the users to get that book. So normally, many times it is finding it favorite authors. I am in need of a good book, a book which is written by Shakespeare. I may not find it because Shakespeare is one of the popular author and many users are using it. Somebody is using and is hiding it if it is in an open access system. So in such cases, students or users are facing difficulties, and the library has to provide some kind of an assistance to get the book and provide to the user's consent whoever is requested. Authors you have heard and are interested in reading, and normally we will not find such books. And titles heard about from family, friends and other reviewers, and we can request the librarian. In case if the users request, the librarian is in a position to get the book from other libraries by interlibrary loan or maybe through any other mode, so to provide to the consent whoever is requested. Favorite book should be arranged in a proper way, and sometimes recently written books, it's one of the important service which the library can do today. And you can see the issue and return aspects. While returning, what kind of a book, what kind of areas are highly used by the users, that is also one way of assessment by the library. And books are in demand according to the circulation statistics, and new book displays, and books that look new, up to date and also in good conditions, they can also be given. And as I told you already, that book clubs can be organized by the library and allow a discussion on a particular topic or a book, or sometimes if any issues arises in the country, and you can organize discussion on that, involve faculty and students, and they can learn more about that particular topic. So this is how the library can start implementing such kind of services. Connect passionate readers from different classes and year levels. Sometimes here this will help to connect different students from different the subjects and different the classes. So that will start integrating cooperation among themselves and provide a chance to students to exchange highly valued peer recommendations and reviews. And it provides the opportunity to practice public talks in the library about the books and reviews, which helps the students or the other researchers to narrate, to talk on any issues. So if you arrange these book clubs, and if you have the book clubs, the students can understand many such public speeches or public the discussion kind of activities. And library collections should be acquired as per the requirement of the particular academic year. And if you don't acquire, and definitely the users may be disappointed, and probably it will be lacking their the learning or teaching requirement. The whole academic community of the respective departments are so that not only it's possible to get a good library collection, and explores different options for adding print materials as well as e-resources. Nowadays most of the books are available online, and you try to acquire more e-resources and build your collections, which helps to the students. And what actually is influencing today's libraries, and particularly while implementing the services, everyone is expecting the technology to be used. There are many such new technologies are influencing the libraries, and some of them are mainly, you can say that the Of course, every library has e-resources, e-books, e-journals, e-dissertations, e-theses, e-projects, and mainly with all these things, there are various additional, the technological components are also, integrated with that, and now we call all the technological based or e-resource based libraries are, we can say sometimes like electronic library or digital library or virtual library. So everyone is expecting the innovative services by way of implementing, by way of, the incorporating their services into the digital or into the virtual platform. And as I told you already, the library should have a website, library should have its own blog, library should maintain its own library automation system, and it has to develop its own digital library. So many such things will integrate other different technologies which can able to provide innovative library services to the users. And the librarian is a technology savvy. He knows all aspects of the technology, how that technology helps to the library by way of providing the services. So he is known to everyone, and in case if I don't know, I can learn. I can learn from my the colleagues. I can learn from my own children's. So I can start implementing it. So without learning, definitely we cannot able to provide a good innovative service. If I don't know anything, let me learn and provide. So that every librarian should come forward to learn and implement the innovative library services in the respective libraries. ICT services in libraries, basically various aspects. Through this we can provide a good library services to the users, and developing the necessary ICT infrastructure which are required for the library. I know there are limitations, there are issues here, because the financial issues is a major concern while developing the many ICT based services, innovative library services itself. But with that limitation, I cannot stop my providing the innovative library services. But still, with the existing facility, if I have one system, one internet connectivity, let me make use of any other open source softwares or open source like the clouds. So I can develop my own, and I can develop my own library innovative services. I don't require any financial assistance. And with that background, I have given some of these ICT technologies which are essential for providing the innovative library services. Mainly automation networking is must. So with that we can integrate many other library services. High bandwidth internet browsing systems. If I don't have any systems, so not to worry, just have one system in your library and give a or create one blog and ask your students to make use of that blog, or otherwise create your own library website, ask your students to access it through their mobile. Most of them are having now most probably the smartphones, so let them use their smartphones, let them use their internet bandwidth, and they can learn. And creation of dynamic library websites and access to e-resources. If you don't have any money to purchase any commercial e-resources, compile open resources and provide. There are many sources are available, and particularly journal and books. Compile it and give, and at least give them a subject heading, and what are the subjects like history, economics, political science, chemistry, physics. Every subject they have the different the open source links. Give them a link, let the users make use of it, and online access to all internal documents in case if it is available, and digitization infrastructure and creation of digital libraries. Multilingual enabled OPAC. If you use any the automation system, like let us say Koha, it has a web OPAC system and students can use it. Compilation of learning material using YouTube way. As you know, YouTube is giving so much of the academic related content by way of lectures and others. So you can compile it. The librarian can spend some time to search, browse the YouTube based on their subjects which are giving services in their respective libraries, and give them a link and give them a subject, so that will help the users to understand. And mainly the technological applications in a service way, like open resources can be compiled, and open softwares can also be compiled and provide a link to the users. And mainly for the faculty members, if they are doing the research, what are the research related softwares required by them can be given a link in your library site. And parallel storage facility, and sometimes your computer might be having storage, you can also maintain some parallel storage facility which will store the content. In case if your system crashes, the other storage will help to bring you to make use of it. And these are all some of the additional kind of things. And one important area which I would like to say, creation of expert databases. Most of the institutions have created their own experts, their faculty members, and made available in the UGC website, that's Inflimet website, which will provide them a platform to understand on a particular subject how many faculty members are available on different designation, professors, associate professor and assistant professors. You bring an awareness to your faculty members. You ask them to be part of this. There is a site I am going to cover in my coming slides. So they can create, they can be part of that, and their data is available in the form of database which anyone can make use of it. And discovery services, sometimes we may subscribe different databases and different ebooks. All of them are integrated and searchable in a common search interface, that's a discovery service. If you are really subscribing any commercial databases, you can always make use of this kind of a service which helps the users to search in a one single search interface like Google search, which gives results from various sources. Similarly, your own subscribed resources can be searchable in a single search interface. Remote access facility. So if your institution, if your college, if your university is research identified as a research center, and you can use the remote access facility to provide the connection to all your faculty members. Let them make use of this facility to access the library resources in their respective homes. In case if they have gone out of station, they can make use of it. So this is also one of the service provided by the library. And cloud computing, anyway if your website is created in a open source the platform, it is a cloud basis one. And if your blog is created in a open source, in a internet, so it's a cloud. So you can try to provide such kind of a platforms to access your library and library services. And many resources can be created by creation of open resources. And I have given just one slide to understand. There is a Digital Library of India site is available, and Internet Archive is available, and World Public Library is available. You need not pay for it. You can just give a link, but you need not download and give a link here. You have to give only the URL link which is provided in that particular respective site. Only that URL is sufficient, because you are accessing through the URL, not by downloading and using it. One best suggestion I would like to suggest here, and don't download any content from any open source the resources. You just give a link, URL link. That is one kind of a service to your users. Okay, and I also covered earlier data storage, free data storage, because though I may get the e-resources by way of giving the link, but I need to download sometimes I want to store my own institution question papers. It's one of the service which I would like to provide for our users. There are many free data storages are available on Google Drive, Mediafire, Sync.com, Mega, Dropbox, pCloud, OneDrive, iCloud, Amazon Drive, Nextcloud. These are all free storages which you need to register by using your Gmail. So that you can register, create 10 Gmail accounts, maintain different the services for the different services. Question papers, you can use Google Drive, or project reports of your respective institution, use Mediafire. So like that you can make use of the free data storages and provide services to the users. Maybe in your the blog you give that heading, the question papers link, projects link, or maybe your internal any the functional or activities, this is the link. So all of them are on different data storages. So you need not be in one particular storage, you may be anything. So these are all many such storage. This is one of the important services by the libraries. Google Cloud is one, and which you can also develop application development. If you are good in technical or technology base, you can make use of this. But if you don't, I also don't understand what is this Google Cloud. What I will do, I will request my colleagues, or if they also don't know, I ask my the relatives or childrens to tell me about this and help me about this, so that they will tell me, and based on their suggestion I will learn and answer. If they are also not in a position to tell, I will go to the center where the Google Cloud is teaching. I am going there, joining for a course and learning and implementing. So only thing is you need to have services in your library. And similarly, open source softwares, there are many open source softwares are available. There are statistical softwares, there are data analysis softwares, there are library automation management softwares, even including the digital review softwares. So all of them can be compiled and made available in a library website or your own blogs, which will help for the users. There is one important service as a librarian which we are supposed to provide: faculty development services, which is very, very important. Now you take the institutional ranking, or maybe your NAAC assessment. So what is the criteria? There are a few criteria which are necessary while the assessment of that particular institution. And mainly they have faculty should publish good research articles, good research papers in a peer-reviewed journals. How many of us are really aware of peer-reviewed journals? And how many of us are really aware of peer-reviewed databases? How many of us are really aware of peer-reviewed bibliographic databases? So these information has to be provided by the librarian, and he has to understand what are the peer-reviewed journals in your respective, their respective the subject. So first here the librarian has to provide some kind of an information to all their faculty members. What are the bibliographical databases are available globally as well as in India, and Scopus, Web of Science, or Indian Citation Index. These are all some of the bibliographical databases. If a journal which is peer reviewed, those journals are listed under Scopus, Web of Science, so that if the article published in those indexed journals, and that's going to be a highly reputed journal, and the faculty should, or the researcher should publish an article in such kind of a journals and get their citations. Once you publish an article in that journals and get the citations, that citations, if more number of citations are there, based on that the author will get the H index. If you get the H index, that will get a value to the institutions, that will be considered under the assessment of that particular institution's research output. That will get a position in NAAC or NIRF assessment. So that the librarians should provide exclusive services to the faculty members for their development, and also the familiarity about the citations and their citations impact on the research, and based on the citation impact the H index will be appearing, and what is the meaning of the H index, how important it is, that has to be familiarized to their concerned faculty members. And there are many research tools are available to popularize, to facilitate the research output globally. So such tools to be announced or provided details to the faculty members to improve their research activities. And there is another one important service which library can provide. The users are learning based on YouTube trend of learning. Now, so now the because of the COVID-19, many webinars are running, and many institutions are providing our YouTube based content, and they are teaching in a YouTube, and they their content is available in YouTube platform, and the students can learn. That link will be shared to the concern the institutions students. They can access the content and learn. So most of the subjects contents are available in YouTube, and the trend is like that. So make your users to understand what is the what are the different YouTube the URLs are available for different subjects. Mainly as a librarian, you must focus for your concerned subject. What kind of subjects are offering in your respective institutions, and try to get access to YouTube. And if any YouTube related the lectures are available, again consolidate, concise and compile and provide access to the users. YouTube videos inspire and engage students and enable teachers to reach students, which will also, there are many educational YouTube channels are available which can help to create the archives for free learning resources, which helps the students to study more efficiently than anything else. Sometimes people may not like the formal way of teaching. Because most of the users are now very technical savvy users. They always be in a mobile, and they want to learn. They want to clearly learn by viewing the videos. So this YouTube trend of learning is best possible way to attract the users by way of providing the compilation of the different subject links. There are various learning models are available, and MIT model I just given, and this is also giving a different video lectures on different subjects. And there are platforms are available, and using by these platforms, the librarian can create a blogs of the respective libraries and give a compilation of different the areas. This is one of the innovative services of any one of the library. Here we are not spending money, and we use the internet, we use some of these platforms, we use some of the storage platforms to store our data. It's so simple. But the only thing is, it requires a computer, it requires an internet, and it requires a personal interest to develop all these things. This is another service which librarians can provide. And there are various blogs. Blogger is one, and it can be used by, it can be created by using the Gmail account and create a profile, and a blogger profile can be created, and once it is created, it is asking for the blog to create based on the title. Maybe your college name is the title, and address can be given, and once it is given, if you want to upload any of the photographs, you can upload and post it in a blog, like how we post in our WhatsApp, how we post in our mail, how we post in our message. Same way you can post here. In case of any hypertext link, there is a column there. You can give a link, and you can enter that link, and that will be available in the form of a HTML format. And it can also be published in a post by giving a link. If any users are requesting, they can go to this particular place and place the cursor. They can click here, the content will appear. So if you want to view, you can go to the view and click, you will get the content like this, and you can create the post and post the link, and videos can be posted, images can be posted, and edit can also be possible. So you can edit the options by getting the options, and monitor the post by using the account, so our email account, so it can be monitored, and upload the video. So you can upload the video and see that this will be done at once, and it is, if we were done at once, and it is made available permanently, and it is going to be stored permanently in your blog, which is nearing to the capacity of the storage. If it is enhances that storage, probably you may not be in a position to upload the content. So here my advice is, try to upload mostly on URL links rather than uploading most of the photographs or videos or anything. You just give an information by giving the URLs, not by anything else. Okay. Okay, and similarly the documents from different websites. So that's about blog. And as I told you earlier, like faculties can be a part of this Vidwan database. Every faculty of your respective institutions, ask them to create their account in a Vidwan. They will be a part of the Vidwan. This database is having Vidwan basically complies with internal and external mandates of an experts available in different subjects, and it's an express database for providing a national researchers network, and the financial assistance as provided by the National Vision on Education through ICT, and it collects profiles of scientists, faculty members and research scientists working in a leading academic and R&D organizations, which helps to provide a strong network of experts which is maintained by InfilNet. It is an instrumental of the selection of panels of experts. And why I am telling all these things, this is again, the InfilNet is a library based body, is maintaining this kind of an information. This is one of the service which you have to provide to your faculty members and ask them to be part of this. And another one important service, IRINS, it is a web-based research information system, information management, and it facilitates all academics and R&D activities. If the researchers or faculty published an articles in a journals, and all the journals are made available, irrespective of the journals, if you publish, this IRINS integrate all the journals and bring into a common platform to provide the research output of an individual faculty members. And it is again developed by the InfilNet. The library has to popularize this kind of a service to the faculty members, and also ask the faculty and researchers to create ORCID ID, Scopus ID, Researcher ID, Microsoft ID, and also Google Scholar ID, which helps them to give some kind of an access to their articles or the resources written or maybe published in a various journals, so that based on that the database is created, that is Vidwan database. It is integrated to IRINS, and based on your institutions, every individual faculty will be having an identity here, and based on that identity the research assessment will be maintained in a software. This is an important one, and librarian should provide some kind of an information to the faculty members. So there is a classification and cataloging is available for the librarian, and online classification system, WebDB is available online, and the librarians can make use of it and provide a classification number. And similarly, to popularize WorldCat to the students, in case if they don't get any kind of books, they can also consult other libraries by visiting. Of course, there are membership based on membership. In India, throughout the world, WorldCat. In India, INDCAT. So these kind of catalogs are there. This has to be given details to the users. If they don't get in their own libraries, they can also be searchable in INDCAT, which is maintained by InfilNet again. So there are some of those services, and some of the other innovative services can also be maintained in a library by participating in in-service training programs of different aspects. I'm not talking about only one aspect. If you want to give a service for IRINS, focus for IRINS mainly for the faculty, Vidwan mainly for the faculty, and research-based services mainly for the faculty. Similarly, for the students, YouTube way of learning and compilation of open access resources, open access services, and access, or maybe any events or incidents happens, discussions can be conducted, involve the students. So those kind of different way you can just provide a training to the students or the users.